Hey everyone, welcome back to our Profit Share podcast. I'm your host this week, Pres McKissack. And you know what? This week's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, the next few weeks are going to be a lot of fun because we're doing something totally different that we've never done before on the podcast. We are going to be narrating and reading the book that Linda and I wrote, The Profit Share Advantage, to help you unlock profit share inside of KW. What's cool about this is we're going to go chapter by chapter, and it was tough. Linda and I were kind of looking at who could read our book, and we had this idea: Morgan Freeman. Who better to read our book than Morgan Freeman? Unfortunately, due to budget restrictions and also his availability, we couldn't get Morgan Freeman, but we did get the next best thing. So Andy on our team is actually going to be narrating the book. But what I'm excited about, as we go chapter by chapter, and Andy narrates the book over the next couple weeks on the podcast, him and I will take a few minutes after each podcast episode and actually debrief the chapter, talk about some of the highlights and things that are maybe we can put a little more perspective on or get a little more practical with. So we're really excited about this series. I hope you'll stay tuned with us over the next few weeks as we go through the book. Now, what we're going to do today is you're going to get up through chapter 1 of the book. And chapter 1 is all around really what is profit share. So giving you, if you knew nothing about profit share, this chapter is going to get you a base level of understanding so that as we move through the rest of the book where we get more tactical in nature, talk about strategy and things like that, you actually know what we're talking about and how you can build your profit share while building a career here at KW. So with that being said, we'll turn it over to Andy here in a few minutes to read us the episode. Before we do that, I do want to share, if you have an interest in learning more about the strategy of profit share, what it is, how it works, and you want to learn the different options you have to build your profit share, just as a reminder, we have a masterclass that you can go through. It's a virtual training with hours of content from Linda and myself, where you can actually learn everything you need to know about profit share to go out and go get your unfair share, as we say. So we'll have a link in the description of where you can find access to that masterclass and sign up. And then as well, what I'd like to encourage you to do, if you haven't gotten the book yet, our book is on Amazon. We purposefully priced it literally as cheap as we can because we make no money from the book. We use this as a way to give back to KW because of all the things it's given us and our family. And so here's what I'd like to ask you to do. If you haven't yet gotten a copy of the Profit Share Advantage, would you go to Amazon, just type in the Profit Share Advantage, it'll pop up, you'll see the book. Would you buy at least 2 copies? And here's what I want you to do. 1 copy is for you, and the other copy is for someone inside of KW, or maybe not even in KW yet, but someone you think may make a really good real estate agent, someone who you might think would be great in KW. And would you give them a copy of the book? Because our goal is to make profit share information more accessible to more people. So if you would do that, we'd be really eternally grateful. Again, the link will be in the description. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to Andy as he reads for us the first up through the first chapter of the Profit Share Advantage book. See you soon.
Welcome to the Profit Share Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Pres McKissack.
Hi, I'm Andy Fenstermaker, and I oversee client support, client management, and the overall profit share community around profit share sites and market center sites. Today, we're kicking off the book with a message from the authors, an introduction by Linda McKissack, and the first chapter. Most real estate agents spend their entire careers chasing their next commission check, never realizing there's a way to build true financial freedom right inside Keller Williams. Profit share is one of the most powerful wealth-building opportunities in the industry, yet only a fraction of agents fully take advantage of it. This book isn't just about understanding how profit share works. It's about giving you a proven step-by-step system to consistently sponsor 15 to 150 agents a year into Keller Williams, all without cold calling or sacrificing your real estate business. The profit share site's strategy was designed to automate 80% of the recruiting process. It's easier than ever to generate recruits, to nurture them, and to schedule recruiting calls all on autopilot. What once took hours of manual effort can now be done systematically and efficiently so you can focus on what matters most. Having quality conversations with more people about real estate careers and how Keller Williams can help them create a life by design. As you read this book, or as you listen to this book, we encourage you to think bigger, take action, and leverage this opportunity while it's in front of you. If you're ready to plug into a system that simplifies the process and helps you get faster results, visit go.profitsharesites.com. Here's to your success, to financial freedom, and to creating a legacy. The information provided in this book is for educational and informational purposes only. Profit share is not guaranteed, and it's subject to the financial performance of each sponsored agent's market center. The profit share pool is dependent on the profitability of the market center and may fluctuate based on market conditions, operational expenses, and company policies. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This book and podcast does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Readers should conduct their own research and consult with appropriate professionals before making any business or financial decisions related to profit share. Neither the authors nor the publisher or narrator shall be held liable for any outcomes resulting from the use of this information. This book, this podcast, and the Profit Share Sites strategy are independent of Keller Williams Realty International and are not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with KWRI. The views, opinions, and strategies expressed within these pages and in this podcast are solely those of the authors and narrator and should not be interpreted as official KWRI policies or positions. Introduction by Linda McKissack. If you're like many people, maybe you've heard whispers about profit share and Keller Williams, but you've never really paid attention. Maybe you've been too busy building your real estate business to give it a second thought. Or maybe you've never heard of it at all. Let me take you back to a pivotal moment in my journey. In 1997, I was sitting in a mastermind with Gary Keller, the kind of meeting where life-changing ideas are born. Gary asked everyone in the room to choose a business outside of real estate and create a pro forma. One by one, people picked mortgage, title insurance, property management. As fate would have it, I was seated at the very end of the table, so by the time it got to me, all the obvious choices were taken. That's when Gary Keller leaned over and whispered, "Linda, haven't you wanted to learn more about that profit share thing?" At that point, anything sounded like a great idea, so I said, sure, and chose to build a pro forma on how to make $1 million in profit share. What started as a simple exercise turned into one of the most transformative journeys of my life. I discovered that profit share wasn't just an abstract concept. It was a tangible, life-changing vehicle that could create financial freedom and impact the lives of thousands. Over the years, I would go on to become the #1 profit share earner in all of Keller Williams. Pres, my son, grew up watching profit share change lives, mine included. He saw how it not only created financial freedom for the person receiving it, but also impacted the lives of those introduced to Keller Williams. And because Pres is a natural problem solver, he recognized something that many miss. Profit share needs a simple, step-by-step system that anyone can follow. The result? A proven roadmap that's already helping countless people tap into the incredible opportunities profit share provides. And now, through this book and podcast, that same knowledge is available to you. I've read countless books that inspired me to take bold action and achieve goals I once thought impossible. I have no doubt that this book and podcast will do the same for you. Here's the truth I know deep down. When you genuinely want to achieve something, there's always a way. This book is your way to build lasting wealth through Keller Williams Profit Share. So let me ask you, do you want your kids to look back someday and wonder why you didn't take advantage of this opportunity? Do you wish you could create more freedom for your family or better support aging parents. These are just a few examples of the life-changing impact profit share can have. There's a powerful story by Bruce Wilkinson called The Warehouse. In it, a person arrives in heaven, and they notice a massive white warehouse. When they finally ask about it, St. Peter reveals that the warehouse holds countless unopened boxes. Each one contains blessings that were meant for people but never claimed. The truth is, most people spend their entire lives chasing financial security, never realizing that a vehicle for true wealth and freedom was right in front of them all along. But not you. Not anymore. You now hold in your hands and are listening in your ears to the roadmap to unlock one of the greatest opportunities Keller Williams has ever created. The only question that remains is, will you claim what's yours, or will you leave it sitting on the shelf like one of those unopened boxes in the warehouse? Imagine the future you could create, not just for yourself, but for your family, for generations to come. A life where money is no longer a daily concern. A life where you can say yes to more time, more impact, more freedom. This book isn't just about learning how profit share works. And yeah, we cover that. It's about taking action. It's about stepping into the potential you've always had and using it to build a legacy. So don't wait. Don't let another year go by without seizing this opportunity. Because one day, your kids are going to look back, just like Pres did, and they'll either see the moment you changed everything, or they'll see the moment you let it all slip away. So the choice is yours. Let's get to work. Chapter 1. What is profit share? In the early 1980s, Gary Keller launched a successful real estate company called Keller Williams in Austin, Texas. This is not the same Keller Williams we are all familiar with today. In fact, this company was a traditional real estate company just like you'd find in almost any market. This version of Keller Williams worked to build a successful company for Gary, until it didn't. After growing Keller Williams into the top brokerage in the city, it all came crashing down in 1986. Overnight, Gary Keller lost 7 of his top 10 producing agents and his entire staff to a new competitor. As you can imagine, that was a pretty bad day in real estate for Mr. Keller. In true Gary Keller fashion, and what would be a defining moment, he called his remaining top agents together to discuss the future of the company. In that meeting, Gary outlined 2 paths forward. Option 1, where they could decide that the new model in town was the best and to all join it. Or option 2, where they would reinvent the company. From that discussion came the pivotal question that would change Keller Williams, the real estate industry, and the lives of hundreds of thousands of people forever. Gary asked a truly brilliant question. How do we create a real estate company where no one would ever want or need to leave? What came from that one powerful question gave birth to the Keller Williams so many of us know and love today. One of the many brilliant ideas brought up by the agents was this. How could they participate in the success of the company just like the owners did? Thanks to a great idea and Gary's genius, profit share was born. It would take a few different forms over the years to become what it is today. Consequently, it would also take quite a few years for the profit share funds to become something substantial. However, today profit share has paid out over $2 billion with a B dollars to those who have helped the company grow. It's the truest reflection of 2 of KW's core beliefs: win-win or no deal, and success through people. If you are new to Keller Williams or the concept of profit share, welcome. If you have been around a while and are approaching the profit share topic with a fresh set of eyes, I'm glad you're here. This company and our profit share program are a gift to those who participate in it. I'm excited to go deep with you on this topic over the next few chapters. Let me take a minute to introduce myself. I am the proud son of Linda and Jim McKissack, the #1 profit share earners in Keller Williams. At the time of writing this book, our family has earned over $16 million in lifetime profit share. Jim and Linda joined KW in 1993, and as a child, I had the privilege and unique perspective of watching our family transform from $600,000 in debt to financial freedom from the opportunities inside this company. When we talk about building legacies worth leaving, I am the beneficiary of that legacy created by my family through this company. At 14 years old, I heard Mo Anderson teach Quantum Leap, and I began to feel the call of KW because of how this company changes lives. After college, I joined Jim and Linda in the business and began my KW career. One of the gifts I received in my first 3 years at KW was that my desk was directly next to Linda's. Since Linda is the #1 profit share earner in the company, she's the person who gets the calls from those ready to stop selling real estate, but simply can't because they have no other streams of income. Each month for 3 years, I heard conversation after conversation of people who wished they could move to Florida, because apparently that's what you do when you retire. But they couldn't. I quickly began to understand why multiple streams of income and profit share were so important. From that point on, I decided to go on a profit share journey that would uniquely equip me to help thousands of others go on their own personal journey to create another stream of income through profit share, which I have done using the profit share secret. More on that in Chapter 2. In this chapter, I want to start by laying the foundation of understanding around what profit share is, how it works, and why you need to make the conscious decision to take ownership of your wealth opportunity in this company. The real estate industry is one of the greatest income-producing opportunities in the entire world. However, we have a fundamental flaw in this business. Real estate sales is a pitch business. That means you only make money when you sell a house. And because of that, the day you sell your last house is the last dollar you will ever make in real estate. Now, that creates a big problem for you, and let me explain why. If you were to try and sell any business, one of the questions you would be asked very quickly is, what is the business's MRR, or monthly recurring revenue? MRR is the money customers pay you every single month. This would be like a subscription model, say Netflix, Amazon Prime, which is not something we have in real estate. Well, what's amazing about monthly recurring revenue is that it compounds over time and can create freedom of your time, your money, and your relationships. If you have a business with MRR and you don't want to work that day, well, no problem. That money is coming in whether you're working or sleeping. This is why I say real estate is a pitch business and we only make money when we sell a house. Again, we make great money for the work that we do. However, real estate sales by itself fails to create long-term freedom of your time, your money, and your relationships. This is why creating passive income through other income streams like profit share is so important. Profit share is one solution to solving the fundamental flaw of the way we get paid in real estate. One of the things I love most about profit share is that it's an equal opportunity, unequal reward type program. Anyone can participate, but not everyone will. I don't use the word opportunity lightly either when talking about profit share. Over the last decade, Keller Williams has brought in at least 40 to 60,000 people into the company each year, and all of those people have one thing in common. Each must name a sponsor when they join. The question isn't whether they will name a sponsor. The question is, who will they name as their sponsor? My hope is that this book will help you decide to take ownership of this massive opportunity to sponsor more people into the company so that you can earn profit share that allows you to create a life by design and gain more freedom to work because you want to and not because you have to. So let's dig into this. Let's explain profit share. As Keller Williams puts it, quote, profit share is a cooperative wealth-building tool where market centers owners invest in the people who helped the office grow. Owners share profits to create a successful and sustainable business that takes care of its people even after they cease production. End quote. Profit share is the truest form of passive income where KW associates are rewarded for helping the company grow. Profit share is paid out around the 21st of every single month. So for those who participate in the profit share program, we all love the 21st of the month. It's our favorite day. There's nothing better than seeing a direct deposit from Keller Williams into your bank account. It's not uncommon for agents to call their local office to ask why Keller Williams is charging them money, only to find out that it's actually their first profit share check being deposited into their account. For them, it's completely unexpected, and that's a pleasant surprise. One of the most common questions people ask is where the profit share money comes from. And that's a great question that is commonly misunderstood. It is often misrepresented that profit share is coming from an agent's commission, but that's not true. Profit share comes from Keller Williams franchise owners' own profits. For example, when a KW associate closes a transaction, and if they have not yet capped, they contribute company dollar or revenue to the market center. The market center uses company dollar to pay all of their expenses, and anything left over at the end of the month is profit. A portion of the owner's profit then is shared into the profit share pool of money for that market center. This speaks volumes to the character and integrity of the business owners we have in this company. They are living out the definition of win-win or no deal. What could be more win-win than our franchise owners providing an opportunity for KW associates to receive a portion of their profit for helping the company grow? Our franchise owners understand a basic industry truth. Real estate agents build real estate companies, so why not reward those efforts to create a self-sustaining growth model? It's actually quite brilliant when you think about it. So let's look at sponsorship a little bit more deeply. Everyone who joins Keller Williams must name a sponsor. Your sponsor is the person who was most influential in your decision to join the company. When someone names you as their sponsor, they go into what is known as your downline. Your downline is a collection of all of the people you have directly or indirectly sponsored into the company, and it goes down 7 levels. Anyone you directly sponsor would go into your first level. If that person sponsored someone else into the company, that new individual would show up on your second level. The process can repeat itself all the way down to that last 7th level, with each level paying out a different percentage. This allows you to benefit from those who are in your downline and who sponsor people into the company as well. It's important to know that you can sponsor someone into any Keller Williams office. That's important. Profit share can be earned from anyone you sponsor across the United States and Canada. You can also sponsor people in other countries around the world. There's a program for that, and it's called Growth Share. The Growth Share model allows for a simple way to share money when dealing with multiple countries, currencies, and regulations. Growth Share is based on top-line revenue, specifically a percentage of the franchise royalty fees that are collected by Keller Williams from international market centers. Growing your downline. Let's look at an example of how your downline grows. At one point, Linda McKissack only had roughly 30 people she had directly sponsored into her first level. However, she had close to 9,000 people in her total profit share tree. This is the power of spending a purposeful career at Keller Williams. Here are two different breakdowns of the profit share 7 levels and the percentage of profit share received from a given level. I have given you two different images to look at in order to simplify your understanding of how it works. At the time of this narration, level 1 earns 50%, level 2, 10%, level 3 and 4 each earn 5, level 5 earns 7.5%, level 6 earns 10, and level 7 earns 12.5. Gary was purposeful in creating the 7 levels in such a way to reward your first level the most and then to reward your downline for growing deeper, meaning having more people on your levels 5, 6, and 7. If you look at the profit share report of the McKissacks, you see that Jim and Linda earned the most from profit share levels 5, 6, and 7. As KW associate and profit share evangelist Aaron Kaufman puts it, build your downline wide, and time will build it deep. KW has shared over $2 billion in profit share since its inception, and it's safe to say that the program is wildly successful and legitimate. But let's also look at another feature, profit share vesting. Profit share has what is called a vesting period. Once you have been with Keller Williams for a specific set of time, you are considered vested. That means if you retire from real estate, as long as you don't join a competing real estate company, you can continue to receive your profit share. To maintain your profit share, you must continue to pay an annual profit share fee through your market center. If you joined KW before April 1st, 2020, your vesting period is really just 3 years and 1 day, meaning by the time of this recording, you're vested. If you joined KW after April 1st, 2020, your vesting period is 7 years and 1 day. Another unique benefit of profit share is that it is willable as long as you name a beneficiary and continue to pay your annual profit share fee. Think about that for a second. You can will your profit share, creating a generational passive income opportunity for your family. Now that is a powerful concept. But profit share can have changes. Profit share is governed by what is called the IALC, or International Agent Leadership Council. The IALC is made up of representatives, both agents and leaders, from each of the Keller Williams regions. Since Gary Keller gave the authority of the program to the IALC, no single person in Keller Williams has the ability to just wave a wand and make significant changes to profit share. It is the responsibility of the ALC to vote on any changes to the program. I hope you understand the significance of what I just explained because it's quite important. That is the type of leader Gary Keller is, that he would just turn over such an important part of the company to the ILC to protect, foster, and enhance over time. It's decisions like these that have made profit share such a powerful and sustainable wealth building opportunity. You can always find the most up-to-date information on the Keller Williams Profit Share program in the P&G manual. Becoming a stakeholder. Did you know that roughly only 30% of KW associates have a downline? When I heard this statistic for the first time, I was shocked, and yet it makes sense. Profit share is simple, but it's not easy. Those who are in the 30% with a downline have made an important mindset shift that everyone else has not. If you have ever been an agent at another company, you understand that being at KW is a little bit different. At other companies, it's kind of like the agent is on one side of the fence and the brokerage is on the other, and both are kind of fighting over every dollar right in the middle. The agent's objective is to get the most money out of the brokerage, and the brokerage wants to get more money from its agents. At KW, it's fundamentally different because you are not an agent, you're an associate, aka a stakeholder in the success of the company. At Keller Williams, associates are on the same side of the fence as the brokerage, and we're all working towards maximizing the dollars in the company because, well, that means more profit share. As a stakeholder, you view things differently. You realize that you have an ownership opportunity, and that is the mindset shift every KW associate needs to make. Take ownership of the opportunity you have in this company to get profits like an owner without all the risks or the downsides. When you take ownership of being a stakeholder in KW and you grow your downline, it's as if you're building a virtual market center within KW. Now, that virtual market center has the potential to be as big as you are willing to build it. Think back on Linda's downline for a second. It's as if she has a KW office with over 9,000 people in it. She doesn't manage it. She doesn't have to support or even have any expectations other than introducing them to KW. There are not many businesses like that with such a low noise decibel and an uncapped return. Because we have KW market centers in almost every major area across the United States, it allows us to sponsor agents into a local office that is built to support those agents. Instead of having to mentor or coach the people you have sponsored into KW, you get to focus on adding the next person into your Keller Williams downline, aka your virtual market center. Our physical offices are our superpower, and they give you the leverage to sponsor people all over the country or even all over the world. So let's look at building your virtual market center. Now that we've taken some time to go over some important details on the profit share program, it's time to dive deep into the profit share secret. I've spent the last decade working with top sponsoring associates in Keller Williams who are growing their downlines faster than our family did. Many of these amazing people are utilizing the profit share secret to predictably sponsor anywhere from 15 to 150 people in a single year into KW without sacrificing their real estate business or time with their families. So, what is the secret behind the profit share advantage? Let's dig into that in the next chapter.
All right, and that's a wrap for chapter 1. Andy, man, I have to give it to you. Great job. I could not tell the difference between Morgan Freeman and you. You're like the redheaded Morgan Freeman. So I just want you to know, on behalf of everyone listening, great job on reading through chapter 1.
Thank you.
I love it.
All
so
right.
let's kind of dive into a few thoughts, Andy, on chapter 1. I think you've got maybe a list of questions you want to ask.
Yeah, I thought this would be a great time to kind of quiz you on what is profit share. First off, what is your favorite part of this chapter?
Good question. All right, favorite part. Gosh, it covers a lot, right? So we talk. I always love the story of Gary and how he started it, how he turned his worst moment into a industry-defining change of actually finding a way to put agents and brokerages on the same side of the fence, as we talk about in the book. But I have to say, my favorite part is probably the mindset shift that I hope most people listening take away when they think about the difference between real estate sales and wealth building, because they are actually, they're not at odds with each other. They're just not necessarily in complete alignment, right? We talk about this in the book, meaning that real estate sales, although an amazing cash flow vehicle, does not build your wealth, right? Because there's not that thing we talk about in the book called monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. So I hope people took away from this chapter, and it's probably my favorite part, is the idea that, wow, while real estate sales is an incredible vehicle for me to make great money, I still have to do some other things to create other streams of income.
Yeah, it's interesting how you talk about, Gary Keller taking one of his worst moments and transforming it completely. Because if you look at any influential person, there's a repetition there that you see over and over again. It's taking something that's bad that happened, and it goes once again to mindset, right? Something bad that happened, transforming it into something positive. So
true.
Cool. One thing I wanted to get a little bit of clarity around is we talked about profit share. An agent pays into company dollar.
Right.
The company dollar grows, and at the end of that month, the profit, a portion of that profit, the owner's profits, is then paid
Correct.
out. And so, but you have lots of different agents paying into that that profit share pool. So, how does it work from there, going back to the agent and then down?
Yeah, and to be honest, purposefully in the book, I did not go through all of the calculations because, as Linda and I always say when we're teaching this class, it really doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, the only thing you need to know is the number one thing you should focus on is building relationships with agents. And once you get that first profit share check, you kind of have to, like, we always say profit share is one of the things you got to believe in before you do it. So, which is kind of what makes it a little bit unique. Once you get that, we have many times you get that first profit share check and people will reach out to the office and be like, why did you bill me? And the office is like, no, that we put money into your account. that's your money from profit share. But to your point, Andy, so obviously you're right. The agents in a market center contribute to company dollar. That company dollar comes in as revenue. And then there's calculations that basically it's 3 different levels. You don't need to really know anything about that other than, depending on how profitable the market center is how much of that company dollar goes into the profit share pool. And so it's paid out basically at 3 different levels. So for a market center, the more profitable that they are, the more of that money is contributed towards the profit share pool. Okay, so it basically, again, what it does is it's just aligning owners and agents on the same side of the fence. And so then once that money is in the profit share pool, it's got this really cool calculation that a really smart gentleman helped Gary figure out how to do, that figures out how much of that of the profit share funds that are in there came from, let's say Andy sponsored me, right? And so I produce some of my company dollar goes into the profit share pool, and then it has a way to say, based on how much money is in here, this is how much Pres contributed, and so now I'm going to go reward that money through Andy and Andy's profit share tree. So who sponsored Andy, who sponsored that person, right, up 7 levels. So again, you don't need to know all that. It's quite complicated, I guess, when you really look at it from a financial perspective or like a numbers perspective. But it's simple in nature in the fact that all it is putting agents and owners on the same side of the fence.
Yeah, and of course, like Pres said at the beginning of the episode, if you want to go deeper into how all of that works, you can take a look at our profit share masterclass that Pres and Linda did. So, one other question, and I love this one because it's so contrary to how people think. So many people think, oh my gosh, like the stock market is going down. I need to get out and stay out until it's going up. And it's almost like this. So right now the real estate market is a little wonky. Should you even consider profit share right now and building your downline?
Yeah, I love that. Well, this is not an earnings claim, but I was just talking with Jim and Linda. They're the number 1 profit share earners in KW, right? And last month they got a $39,000 profit share check in a market that's down. And absolutely, that's down from where it is, right? If profit share is based on profit, right? And so when there's less revenue and there's less profit for a market center, your profit share is going to be down. That's just math, right? Now, here's the reality, though. It's like real estate. Real estate may come down for a moment, but what happens over a long period of time? It always continues to go up over time. So I'm a firm believer that what goes down will come up. What goes up will go down. And what I know to be true is that we've been in sort of a slump for the last few years. It won't be forever. A lot of smart people are hoping 1 more year of this, maybe. So who knows? We don't obviously know crystal ball to predict the future. But I tell the story with in relation to Nick's story, which we'll get into more in the next chapter. But in Nick's story, he caught the wave at the top. So he got the wave towards the peak of it. And so you get to see in the next chapter his profit share growth, which was substantial. Right? So what's cool is the people who get in now are going to get to ride the full wave of the next increase over time. So if you're asking me if I think it's a good strategy, I'll put it like this. If you're going to focus on profit share as one of your streams of income, then I think it's a great time to master the skill set, because anyone you recruit right now, that makes it, guess what? If they're winning in this market, they're going to dominate in the next market, because this is a harder market than we've been in a while. So I absolutely believe it can be a great time to do it. Again, if you're committed to doing it over time.
Perfect. I love that answer. And it's also why I'm like, after taking a bit of a year off or so, I'm refocusing on it, and we'll talk about that in one of the later episodes about some of the things that I'm seeing and I'm doing and so forth. I'm going to leave this episode with one more thing, and that is one of our favorite people. Something one of our favorite people says, and that person is the Velvet Hammer. Mo Anderson,
baby.
So tell me what she says about profit share.
Yeah, I love that. So obviously, there's no one more iconic in this company outside of Gary Keller than Mo Anderson for what she's done for our culture, for our company as a whole, right? Setting a standard for a whole generation. And what I love is, I'm going to give my best Mo impression. She'll say, "Darlin'," right? She has that unique Southern accent where she says, "Darlin'." When you join KW, other than getting into production, your first focus with profit share is to add 15 people to your downline as fast as possible. And I think that's a great way, Andy, to kind of wrap up this episode with, now that you know the 101 of profit share, you understand how it works, you understand how it's governed by the IALC, which is great because it gives checks and balances. It can't just be changed overnight like other companies can. You realize that now that you know that, none of that really matters. What matters now is you go out and you focus on building wealth by changing lives. And so we're going to leave you with what Mo says, which is, "Darlin', it's time for you to go get 15 people in your downline as fast as possible."
Yep. Excellent. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right. We'll see you then.